Now, though, pause that conversation to get back to this breaking news we just teased. Just moments ago, the House Oversight Committee released never-before-seen emails from Jeffrey Epstein's estate, which include correspondence between Epstein and his longtime co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, currently incarcerated on sex trafficking charges. Let's now bring in MSNBC Justice and Intelligence reporter Ken Dilanian, who has been digging through these emails. Ken, what have we learned so far?
Good morning, Jonathan. Well, look, the Epstein estate has released some 23,000 emails, and House Democrats have been poring over them, and they found some correspondence directly mentioning Donald Trump by name. They've released 3 of these emails, and they're quite interesting. The first one was between Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein back in 2011, where Epstein wrote that Donald Trump spent hours at my house with an unnamed victim of sex trafficking, whose name is redacted in the email. And Epstein referred to Trump as the dog that hasn't barked. And then in a separate email years later with author Michael Wolff in 2019, Epstein said explicitly that Donald Trump, quote, knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. And then the Democrats cite another email with Wolff in 2015 where Epstein and Wolff are discussing if they can craft an answer for an upcoming Donald Trump interview. And Wolff sort of suggests that Epstein has leverage over Donald Trump, saying if he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, then that gives you valuable PR and political currency. Now, look, Jeffrey Epstein, it was a manipulative monster, and so you really can't take anything he says to the bank here. But this is important evidence that people trying to understand what Donald Trump's relationship was with Jeffrey Epstein and what his role was and where he was and did he go to the House. This is important evidence that fills in some blanks on that picture. The Democrats believe there are more to come from these emails that have been released by the Epstein estate, John.
And we should note our friend Joyce Vance notes on Twitter just now, she's also pouring through these emails, that one of them dates from 2011 when Epstein would have had really little incentive to lie, and it's well before Trump's political career, of course. So this is, Ken, the story that Donald Trump just wants to go away. And he's done a pretty good job, I guess, of telling MAGA influencers, hey, stop talking about this. He kind of quelled that rebellion that we saw over the summer. There's a real belief that Speaker Johnson sent the House home when he did, in part to not talk about Epstein and not swear in that Arizona Congresswoman-elect who is going to provide the decisive vote. So a couple of things here. I know you're still going through the emails, but this is, and we expect Johnson to do that swearing in later today. There's going to be more to come, right? And we should note Trump has long since challenged the credibility of Michael Wolff on other matters, but we'll see. He's getting these emails from Epstein, too. What else should we expect, not just potentially from these emails, but from what new material may still be coming?
Well, look, I mean, there's got to be more information that sheds light on Donald Trump's longtime relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Whether it's incriminating to Donald Trump remains to be seen, but it's got to be there in those emails and elsewhere in the files. And in fact, we know that Trump was told that his name was in the quote-unquote Epstein files, the unreleased information from the Justice Department. Again, we've always been told that there's nothing in that material that incriminates others to the point where they should have been charged. That's what investigators have always said long before this became an issue of controversy. But you're absolutely right. As a political matter, it's just so interesting because the MAGA world has long believed that there's a conspiracy to cover up what happened with Jeffrey Epstein. Well, now the people who have control of the material is the Trump administration. And so, but yet the MAGA folks have not turned their fire on Donald Trump personally. They've been very mad at Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, the FBI director, for what they consider inaction and not releasing these files. And so far, the Justice Department's position is we're not releasing anything more. But this, as you said, this is a live political issue. The interesting question is going to be, do these emails or does other information cause anyone in the MAGA movement to start turning their attention to Donald Trump and asking him what he's hiding and whether more information should be released, Jonathan?
MSNBC Justice and Intelligence reporter Ken Dilanian. And Ken, thank you as always. John Heilemann